What's up everyone, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today we are talking about Politoed. We are covering a singles and doubles move set, as well as speed tiers and damage calcs. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and like and subscribe, it means so much to me. Anyway, let's get into the video. So today we are talking about Politoed. This is one of the most hyped up Pokemon from the DLC expansion Isle of Armor, because of its huge buff to rain teams. We also have some other Pokemon that were really good on rain teams that came into this new meta with the DLC. Things like Kingdra, we have Amoonguss, which could be great. We have Urshifu, which likes rain because it's water, or at least the rapid strike style. But yeah, a lot of good stuff out of this DLC, and Politoed was one of the big boys of the DLC, and we'll talk about why. So first off, its ability is Drizzle, which is really good. Whenever it jumps into the battle, it activates Heavy Rain, which is very, very good. This is amazing. I mean, we've seen this with like Pokemon like Pelipper taking, you know, good placements at places, but this Pokemon is arguably better, being much more bulky. It doesn't have Tailwind, but it does have you know, the general bulk around it, which is good. It has a bunch of good like moves like Scald, Icy Wind, Encore. It has a very good deep move pool for a, you know, side character role where it just sets up rain and kind of helps support the Pokemon that's really sweeping. So overall, it makes for a really good Pokemon for a rain team. As far as its typing goes, it's mono water instead of like mono water flying like Pelipper, or water plus anything else. So we got only 2 weaknesses but 4 resistances, which is good. And this Pokemon loves its resistances. You can switch it in and pretty safely against most of those resisted hits and just take very minimal damage, which is good. Our 2 weaknesses are Electric and Grass, which are both pretty prevalent in the game. You know, we have a bunch of Rotom forms going around. We have Rillaboom now, Venusaur, we even have Amoonguss. So there's a lot of Pokemon that are hitting this Pokemon for super effective attacks, but we can live 1 or 2 pretty easily a lot of the time. Not always. You know, Grassy Surge is pretty mighty, but still, nonetheless, it's pretty bulky. Anyway, as far as our stats go, we are pretty bulky, like I was saying. HP 90, special defense at 100, and then defense at 75, which is like okay, but not amazing. Actually pretty under average, but HP and special defense are a little above average or average, so it's pretty solid. If you invest into those, then this Pokemon can live a bunch of attacks. Our special attack is at 90, which is not bad. It makes our Scalds and Icy Winds pretty, you know, okay. Not doing 0 damage, but not doing a lot. And then we're also running 70 speed on this Pokemon, which is very solid because you know, it's not too fast to where you can use you know, you're up against things like Tyranitar. You want to underspeed those Pokemon for that weather boost, which is really good. So yeah, Politoed likes to be slow, so we're running it as slow as possible just so we can outspeed the Tyranitar. Anyway, that's going to be it for our overview. Let's go ahead and jump into the moveset itself. So as far as our move pool goes, or our moveset, we are running the ability Drizzle. Like I was saying, that's, you know, 50% of this Pokemon's reasoning on why playing it. As far as our item goes, we are running the Aguav berry. You can use any of the pinch berries. That's just the one that I like put on, you know, the first one that comes in my head. So yeah, we like the pinch berry because we take a lot of damage and then go back up. It's nice. This Pokemon gets to chill for a little while, hitting Icy Winds and Helping Hands and just being a nuisance to your opponent. And it's good to have a little bit of bulk, and that gives us a good bit of bulk. And then you could also run something like Damp Rock to give it more turns of rain, but, you know, a lot of Tyranitar, maybe Torkoal running around, so maybe that's not the best. 5 turns gets a lot of advantage. You can switch it out and come back in and then set it again. And then another good option is something like Wakan Berry that gives you that super effective pillow from you know, electric type attacks. There's also the grass one that I can't think of right off the top of my head, Rindo Berry. So yeah, you could go with either of those as well. Depending on your team, if you really need to patch up a couple of weaknesses, that could be a good option for Politoed. So as far as our moves for this set goes, we are running Scald, Icy Wind, Helping Hand, and Protect. You can switch these up a little bit. I just like this set because, well, we'll talk about it. So Scald is pretty solid. It gives you that stab move, Scald. It also gives a chance to burn, which is really good. We have Icy Wind to for a little bit of speed control. This Pokemon's really slow, so it won't always get Icy Winds off. It might get like double targeted or just taken out by like a Rillaboom Wood Hammer under Grassy Surge or something. So you never know, but Icy Wind is a pretty solid attack for this Pokemon, giving it another good you know, status move, something, a support move. Anyway, so next we also have Helping Hand. It's good because it gives you priority on the Helping Hand, making your Pokemon really strong. It's good because Politoed really likes supporting. It's really fast, really strong Swift Swim Sweeper. So Helping Hand works perfectly for that. And then we're also running Protect just because I love Protect, and I think Protect lands pretty well on a Pokemon like this. You know, any turn your opponent's expecting to just like knock out your support Politoed, you just Protect and you're good. So I love Protect. I value it a lot on this set. So next we have a couple of versatile moves that you can flex in instead of any of the moves that we have on ours. Say you don't like Icy Wind, you can change it up. So we have Muddy Water, just as another good option for stab. The only thing bad about it is like you have like Coil on things like Milotic to make it always hit, but we don't have that for this, so Muddy Water is going to miss sometimes. Speaking of things that I wish we had Coil for, we also have Hypnosis on this Pokemon. We're not using it because we don't have Coil, but man, this would be like so similar to Milotic if you were just like Coil, Hypnosis, Coil, Muddy Water. That'd be weird, but that's an option. Then we also have Ice Beam and Earth Power for some coverage moves. If you need some more coverage on your team, you can swap those in for like Icy Wind or Helping Hand, or even Scald potentially, like, you know. And then we have Haze, Parasong, and Encore. All of these are pretty solid support moves. Haze being able to get rid of all these stat multipliers on the field. You know, you run into a weakness policy, Tyranitar, and boom, Haze. All good. You also have things like Parasong, which could be really cool for this Pokemon, giving it an alternate, you know, reason to be played. Not only for rain teams, you can also run it on Perish Trap teams. It's really cool. It works well under like Trick Room as well, which is good. We also have Encore, which is really cool just because it's Encore, but Encore is not the best on this Pokemon because it's really slow. So, you know, maybe it'll work on like a Trick Room team or something, but probably not always going to be great. Anyway, that's going to be it for our moves. There are a couple of other good moves, like some coverage moves or something, but that's what we have today. So, other than that, let's talk about some EVs. So, the EV spread we're using. The spread we're using today is 252 HP, 228 defense, and 28 special defense. Now, this is currently the most used spread on Pikalytics, and for pretty good reason. We're in a pretty physical defensive format, physically offensive format, and hitting that 228 on defense is pretty solid. Honestly, I just wanted to bulk up this Pokemon as much as possible, and then we went with a little bit of Sassy, or, you know, Nature Sassy. It's a little sassy Pokemon, and giving it that minus speed and plus special defense, bulking up a little bit on special defense so we don't just die to things like, you know, special attackers, Venusaur, Rotom Mow, any of the Rotoms hitting Thunder, or Thunderbolt. So we went with as slow as possible. We also went 0 IVs into speed. That way this Pokemon can always set its rain before things like Tyranitar, which are still very, very rampant in the meta. So yeah, being slow is really good, and being bulky is very good as well. So that's about it for the Politoed moveset. Let's go ahead and talk about two synergetic Pokemon real quick, or a couple actually. So first off, we have Kingdra, but this could be, you know, any of the Swift Swim Pokemon, any sweepers. Kingdra is just the first one that came to my mind because of it being new to the DLC. So we have Kingdra, we have Ludicolo, Seismitoad, Barraskewda. There's a lot of really good Pokemon that can take advantage of water. Even things like Dracovish, just making Fishious Wren stronger. Urshifu, Rapid Strike style, just stronger in water. Hitting crits in water, like getting an additional 50% and then hitting crits, so it just breaks through any kind of wall. It's a really good little statistic, a little way that you can use it. So honestly, any of those Pokemon can make for great team partners with Politoed. And then next we also have Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn just loves the rain because of its quad effective weakness to fire. The rain is active. It makes all fire types attacks lower and just gets to attack. It makes Ferrothorn live longer. It's pretty much all I'm saying. So Ferrothorn loves water, so it's good. It also covers a lot of weaknesses on water teams, which is great. Anyway, that is going to be it for our moveset and move pool and overview. Let's go ahead and talk about some speed tiers. So as far as our speed tiers go, we're not super fast, but we're like pretty slow, which is good for outspeeding for weather. So here we are at 67. We're outspeeding a lot of good Pokemon, things like Conkeldurr most of the time. Gastron, even if it's uninvested instead of hindering. Jellicent, if it's hindering, but if Jellicent is you know, uninvested, then it's going to be outspeeding us. And then we have Clefairy, Mudsdale, Snorlax, Reuniclus, Hatterene, all the small guys. The biggest like upset is like Torkoal down at the very bottom, so it's going to activate its sun after you, so you have a really bad matchup with Torkoal, which is unfortunate and kind of weird because you're like, well, we're water. But yeah, the Weather Wars is pretty mean. So not bad. We are outsped by a lot of Pokemon, Jellicent, Sylveon, Lapras, Tyranitar, which is the only one that's good that outspeeds us, Togekiss, and even Milotic. A lot of Pokemon, I mean, everything above that, you know, Gyarados, Excadrill, Duraludon, I already said Tyranitar, Dragapult, all these crazy Pokemon, everything fast is going to be outspeeding us. It makes sense. So that's about it for our speed tiers. Let's go ahead and talk about some damage calcs. So most of these are going to be defensive because we're not really going to be, you don't really think of Politoed as an attacker, so we barely use it as an attacker in these. So first off, we have a Mungus Energy Ball into our pretty defensive Politoed, hitting 40 to 48, which isn't even a 100% chance to 2-hit KO because of Figgy Berry. It actually gives us a 50% chance to 3-hit KO because of our Pinch Berry. So that's really good. We have a good matchup against a Mungus. I mean, obviously, if it sleeps you, it's annoying. But honestly, if it's sleeping Politoed, then your sweeper is just like very happy and just like taking Pokemon out left and right. So that's really good. Next, we have 140 attack Rillaboom. This is one of the most common spreads for Rillaboom, and it's the more attacking one. That plus Woodhammer does, with grassy terrain, guaranteed OHKO Politoed, which is very unfortunate. Breaks right through the berry. Hits it for 128 to 153%, which is a guaranteed OHKO. We're not going to be Dynamaxing this Pokemon, so Rillaboom half the time is just going to knock you out. Now, if it's not an offensive Rillaboom, which, is actually the majority of them is being very low attack, maybe not 0, but, potentially like pretty low. And if they use Grassy Glide, which is a new attack from the DLC, it's only hitting 68 to 80% even in grassy terrain, so that's really good. And then we heal from Figgy Berry, grassy terrain that turn, so we go back up to about like 50-60%, and we can't take another one, but it's cool. And Grassy Glide does have that increased priority in the terrain, so it might be able to break through that. Not and just take out the Politoed. So next we have Dynamax Max Lightning from a Rotom Wash, a Dynamax Rotom Wash. This is the 76 special attack spreads, one of the most commonly used, into our very defensive Politoed. Hits 74 to 88%. Now if it nasty plots, obviously it's going to take us out, like OHKO, but we're seeing a very trend down in Rotom Wash, especially with all these new water Pokemon that we can play with this week. So yeah, you're probably not going to see it as much, but we live an attack from it without Dynamaxing or without Nasty Plot, which is really good. So next we have Politoed Scald, a couple of our offensive calcs. Politoed Scald into Incineroar during rain, because we're going to have rain set, is 51 to 60%, which is guaranteed 2-hit KO, bypasses its berry. This makes it an amazing matchup against Incineroar. Also, if you have something like Ferrothorn by your side, then Incineroar is like, hey, I'm going to beat that guy up. Well, you don't have to worry too much because the rain is going to help it, and Flare Blitz is only going to do like normal super effective damage, and you'll be able to tank that. So that's cool. Next, we have Politoed Scald into a Tyranitar in Sand. This should be, realistically, this should be in rain. So it shouldn't be doing like, half damage. It should be doing 2 times this. So it should actually be doing 4 times damage most of the time compared to this. Wait, is that math right? That math is right. Hold on. Okay, so if rain is active, we're hitting for 36 to 43%, which is a guaranteed 3-hit KO into a Dynamax Tyranitar, and we do have access to Haze, so we would be able to like break that weakness policy. So theoretically, you can make an amazing matchup against Tyranitar out of like a really bad matchup, but it would take a lot of setup and it would be really weird, and I don't know if it's worth it. But anyway, that's about it for our damage calcs. Let's talk about a single spotlight build real quick, and then I'll be done the video. Anyway, so as far as singles spotlight goes, we are running Water Absorb so that we can just switch this Pokemon in really safely. It's not being the Drizzle, the setup sweeper in this build. You can make it as a setup sweeper, but essentially what we're doing for this build is Chesto Resto, where you rest and then you use Chesto Berry. So you take a lot of damage and then you rest up. Chesto Berry heals that from you, and then you're free to go attack again. We're running Scald for damage as well as Burn, Protect just so that you can get more turns of easy access. We also have Toxic to break walls, which is really good, and Rest for Chesto Resto, of course. And then Water Absorb, like I was saying, makes it a really good switch in against Water-type Pokemon. That way you can just absorb that water and then heal up a little bit, and you're looking pretty good. And then for our EVs, we went 248 into HP, 252 into Special Defense, and 8 into Speed. If you're not playing level 100, so if you're playing Smogon, this is optimal. If you're not playing Smogon rules, where you're playing like ranked online, in using the level 50 build, change that to 252 HP, 252 special defense, and 4 speed, or even just like 4 defense or something. just, you know, optimize it for level 50. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you like the content that I'm creating, like, comment, and subscribe. It means so much to me. Go say, have a nice day in the comments. Whatever you want. Just help me out in the algorithm. Let's go. Let's get big. Politoed's awesome. Politoed's an addition, a great addition for Rain. Very excited to see it being played in the next couple of weeks, and as we go on through VGC 2020. Very excited for this Pokemon and Rain team in general. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. Join my Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Do all of these things. Have a great next 2 months. Goodbye.